Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Board Game Brunch, my monthly live Q&A here on the Dice Tower. I'm going to have to mute the stream on my computer here in a second. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Okay. Oh, there we go. Got it muted pretty quickly. I don't have headphones on because I'm not talking to anyone except you all. So, and if you'll notice, I'm in a different location than I typically am. I am in Missouri at visiting my family, and I'm at my mom's house right now. So the setup is not 100% ideal, but if you all could let me know if you could hear me okay. I assume based on the fact that audio came through on my end that you can. I know the backdrop is very different here. We've got a piano and lots of random decor. My mom likes her little knickknacks and whatnot. And I was going to see if, hey, Shelby, do you want to come say hi? My mom's dog is sitting nearby. Audio and video are fine. That is good to know. I'm literally just using a Microsoft Surface, and whatever the webcam and microphone are in that. So it's good to hear that it's not horrible. I know it won't be quite as good as usual, but so it is the end of a month. It's the end of May. We're heading into June, which is the middle of the year, and I am baffled as to how this year has gone by so quickly. Not just for life, but for board game stuff too. That means we're heading smack dab into the biggest part of con season for board games. We just, let's see, Geekway to the West just happened not too long ago. The UK Games Expo, is that happening now? Later, soon, already? I know that was around this time. And then Origins is coming up in 3 weeks? We've got Dice Tower Con after that. We've got Gen Con after that. A whole lot of exciting things going on. I am glad to hear that the Microsoft Surface camera and microphone are doing well for you all. So feel free to drop any questions that you have for me in the chat. I will see if I can get Shelby to come over here and say hi at some point. I know you all love the doggos, but she's right now busy looking out the window. There's a lot of exciting things going on outside, obviously. Oh yeah, the Come On Expo as well. Am I the only one that didn't know it was Come On? I just learned that maybe, I don't know, a month ago or so. I had been pronouncing it Simon, and I thought most other people were as well. And apparently it is Come On, which is more amusing. I like it, but I just didn't know that. And so I'm wondering if I was the only one that was unaware of that fact for a very long time. Yeah, when they rebranded from Cool Mini or Not to just the acronym itself, I really thought it was CMON. And they just recently changed how they request people pronounce their company name. Perfect. Well, good. Then I feel not so bad for not having known and for only recently. And also, it's just fun to say, come on, right? Yeah. I like it a lot. So I'm in Missouri. It has been a little bit of a stressful weekend here. I have a family member who has ended up in the hospital. Everything is going to be okay. And obviously I want to respect their privacy. But our weekend plans kind of got a little thrown into disarray a little bit. So we haven't gotten to do any gaming yet while I've been here. I did bring games with me, of course. You all know that when I travel, I always have my Quiver. And I actually, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff you all have seen in it before. But I did fit one notable new game in here that I had not previously ever put in a Quiver before. So this is that moment where I'm going to show you all and dump everything out, probably. And thank you, Kabuki Kid. Yeah, my family member is going to be okay. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So again, keep dropping those questions in the chat. But here, let's see if I can show this. Okay, so it looks pretty similar to what you all have seen before, probably. I've got a lot of rule books and some laminated sheets up in the top. And then I've got more laminated sheets here. And then I've got a whole bunch of cards and dice. But what you can't see is what's underneath all of those dice. So I'm going to move the laminated sheets, and I'm going to pull out bag of dice, bag of dice. What's funny is I could probably consolidate the dice. Like right now I have more dice than I need for what games are in here. I'm like, if I could fit, like I've got 2 blue dice for the Gon's Shown Clever and Doppelt So Clever. I could probably consolidate these to some degree, but really I just like having all of the dice for all the games that are in here. Okay, so pulling those 3 bags of dice out. Pulling out the chips that go with 21. No thanks. Why did I say 21? Different game. And then you get to the fun stuff. I have a bunch of colored markers because, and sorry, Shelby is growling in the background. I've got my little whiteboards for just one in here, which was a fun little addition. I've got the cards somewhere amidst all of these other cards. Oh yeah, there they are. And I brought all of them, and I didn't need to bring all of them. You only go through 13 in a game, and how many games of this am I actually going to play? Well, this weekend, probably not very many at all. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Shelby. Hey, Shelby, do you want to come say hi? Come here. Yeah, come here. Okay, Shelby's going to come say hi now. We're going to put this stuff down. Come here. I dropped them. Come here. Oh, I know. You don't know what a computer is, do you? Can you say hello? Yeah. Can you say hello without kissing my face? Oh, goodness. I know. Shelby's been a little bit thrown into disarray by all the drama this weekend, too. But we're taking good care of you, aren't you? And I've got some treats in my pocket to give you if I need to. Yeah. So this is Shelby. This is my mom's dog. She adopted her a couple of years ago now, and she's a sweetheart. Yes, she is. Are you a good doggo? You're a good doggo. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, I have just one in the Quiver, which is great. And I think I could optimize. Like, I don't actually need these boards to play just one at all. I have laminated sheets in here for other games that I could literally just flip over, give one of these to everybody, and they could use that as their whiteboard. And I didn't think of that until after I'd already packed up the Quiver. I was like, why in the world do I need these tiny, I mean, of course the marker boards are great, but you don't need them to play just one. You just need something to write on. And the person who's guessing the clue could literally just hold the card up till everybody sees it and then put it back down. So needless to say, I packed things that were unnecessary but fun. And we'll see if we get a chance to play. But yeah, so then the other games that I have in here are ones that you guys have probably heard me mention before. Yeah, the easels are nice, and I was able to fit them in here, so it's really fine. Let's see, I've got Belrati, the cooperative game that came out last year, and that one it wasn't nominated for a Spiel, but I believe it was in the recommended games that were like presented with the nominations. And if you guys don't know what I'm saying when I say Belrati, it's one word. It's Belratti. And there is Belrati himself. I believe this one's going to get released in America, but I think it might be renamed or rethemed or something. But it's a really, really fun cooperative game. If you like the mind, I recommend checking out Belrati. Okay, so I've got No Thanks. I've got, what is this over here? We've got High Society, the cool reprint with the really beautiful art. I've got Red 7. I've got Werfel Bonanza, which is the dice version of Bonanza. I have Circle the Wagons. I have Hanami Koji. I have The Mind. I have Herbaceous. I have Sprawlopolis, which is one of my favorite button shy games. No, it is my favorite button shy game. Although this week or next, Button Shy is doing a Kickstarter for Tussie Mussy, which is a game from Elizabeth Hargrave, who a lot of you may know of by name because she is also the designer of Wingspan, which it's gotten a little bit of notice, I think, the past few months. Tussie Mussy, she designed for last year's Gen Cant Button Shy contest over the summer, and there were 2 winners. Her game Tussie Mussy was one of them, and now Button Shy is going to be formally releasing it. And I've played the print and play of Tussie Mussy, and it is great. So whenever that hits Kickstarter, definitely check it out. It's got an I split you choose mechanism. You've got little bouquets of flowers, and you get to present. It's gonna be a little while since I've played it, so hopefully I'll get the rules kind of right. But basically, you take 2 cards, you look at them, and you then present those 2 cards to one of the other players. One of them is face up, and one of them is face down. And so the other player gets to choose what they want first, and they know one of the things and they don't know the other. So there's a lot of meta in it. Is the face down card something that they really want? and you're trying to make sure that they don't take it because they can't see it? Or is it something that they don't want and you're thinking, oh, maybe because they assume it's face down, I'm trying to hide something that they should take it? It's very interesting. But yeah, it's hitting Kickstarter soon. I don't know the date exactly. If somebody in chat wanted to try and look that up, they probably could. But yeah, check out Tussie Mussy for sure. And I think Button Shy always lets you add on other of their games to your Kickstarter pledge. So I might add a couple other games when I get it. There was something else they had on Kickstarter recently that was interesting, and I cannot remember which one it was now. All right, what else do I have in here? Oh, I have 2 Keyforge decks that Roy Canaday actually gifted to me on the Dice Tower cruise. So that was really nice of him. And then, yep, I've got the cards for just one. I think that's about it. Did I say wordsy? Oh, so then I have a couple of the roll and write games that aren't card based. I've got Knock Mall, which is this roll and write game. I have 21, which looks like this, and I've got a bunch of those laminated. And then I've got, as I kind of threw up in the air earlier, so I've got Blocks, which is one of the many now Tetris roll and write games. And then I've got Doppelt, So Clever. I don't actually know if I have Ganz Schon Clever in here. I thought I did because I have the dice for it. But it's so funny. Occasionally I'll pull out some of the components for a game and then forget to take out the rest of them. So I'll leave laminated sheets for games that I don't have the dice for. I'm a little bit disorganized when it comes to my Quiver, but I always have plenty of games in here, so it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, so that is what's hanging out in the Quiver. As far as other stuff for me when I travel, I like to play games on my Nintendo Switch, and one of my recent obsessions has been Tetris 99, which is the Battle Royale style Tetris game, and they just recently came out with a mode where you can actually play against the computer instead of real people online, which was great when I was on the airplane. So that was cool. I'm going to scroll back up in the chat and start answering some questions. Let's see here. Going back up. All right. Any thoughts on the Picard trailer? So for those of you who aren't aware, I am a very, very big Star Trek fan. I'm sure most people in this head chat are aware of that fact already. I got literal goosebumps. I watched it 3 times, and at the end of the trailer, when they played the melody with the flute, like the specific type of flute that Picard played in Next Generation, I got goosebumps, and then I watched the trailer again, and I was like, well, I know it's coming, so it won't happen. And I got goosebumps again, and it just kept happening. I love it. I'm so excited for that show. I cannot believe that it's only 6-7 months away now. I'm absolutely over the moon excited. And I especially liked, I don't know if they've confirmed it, but that was definitely Gina Torres's voice doing the voiceover in that trailer. A lot of people may know Gina Torres from various things, but I think in nerd culture, Firefly is the one that most people would know her from. She was Zoe in Firefly, and she's never been in Star Trek to my knowledge, but I'm like 99% certain that was her voice in the trailer. She has a very distinct voice. It's beautiful. And so I'm hoping that means she has a role in the show, but why wouldn't they have announced that? Is she just doing the voiceover? I don't know. Regardless, very excited. Cannot wait for that show. Let's see here. Oh yeah, my Quiver was definitely stuffed full of lots of things. Somebody watched Encounter at Farpoint recently. Very cool. Talon asks me, what is my favorite game? This is a question that I used to be able to answer easily, and it's been shifting for me. So a year and some months ago, when I released my very first top 100 games of all time over on the Board Game Blitz YouTube channel, go check those out if you haven't seen them. My number 1 game at that point was Star Trek Ascendancy. I have since come to the conclusion that while I do love Star Trek Ascendancy, and it is my favorite Star Trek board game, it is a little bit too cumbersome of a game to teach and to get to the table regularly. So I don't think it can be my favorite game anymore, truthfully. And but what's funny is the game that would theoretically surpass it as my favorite game is also difficult to get to the table and difficult to teach. But that would be, so I think right now it's Battlestar Galactica. I've loved that game for 10 years? now. Probably not quite that much. I've owned it for a long time, and it is a game that I really truly love. And every time I play it, I have a great time, no matter how horribly I lose, which is often in that game. Because I'm not usually a Cylon, I'm usually a human. And the humans have a really hard time in that game, especially depending on which contents from the expansions you add in. So Battlestar Galactica is probably my favorite right now. So that's what I'll say for that. But who knows? I'm going to be doing my top 100 games again this year here on the Dice Tower. And at that point, the sky's the limit. It could be anything. Let's see here. Oh yeah, somebody was saying Belrati waiting for the US production. Yeah, because I ordered mine, or no, I bought mine at Board Game Geek Con last fall. And I think you could order them from Amazon.de, German Amazon, at one point, but I don't know if it's still available on there. Have I checked out the Chernobyl miniseries on HBO? Best thing I've found on TV in some time. It is on my very short list of things to get to soon. It's funny because a lot of my friends have said that they're canceling their HBO Go subscriptions now that Game of Thrones has ended. And I am most certainly not canceling HBO because I'm still finishing up the very last season of Veep, which honestly, I'm not enjoying that show as much as I used to, but it's still good. The actors in it are spectacular, but the story has just kind of gotten weird. And then there's a new show on HBO called Gentleman Jack, which I am in love with. It is really good. And there's only, how many episodes now? Probably like 4 or 5 episodes of that one so far. But yeah, Chernobyl is on my short list. And I want to say there was something else that I wanted to watch on HBO. I don't know. HBO has Crazy Rich Asians, which is a movie that I love. So if nothing else, I can just rewatch that movie over and over again, and that'll make me happy. So let's see here. Do I like legacy games? Oh, the chat just totally jumped a little bit there. That is a lot of stuff that hadn't refreshed. Okay. Do I like legacy games? I do like legacy games, although I say that with a caveat because I haven't played that many. I've played through all of Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and Pandemic Legacy Season 2, but that is it. I haven't played Charterstone. I haven't played the Inca and Marcus Brand one that just came out last year, which now the name is escaping me. I know someone will put it in the chat and I will see it later. But that one, I love them as designers. So that one interested me, especially because there's dice that you modify during the course of that game. So that one was fascinating. And I have seen Seafall on sale really cheap because that game did not go over well with most gamers the way I think the designers intended. And I've seen it on sale and thought about picking it up, but I don't really have a group to play that with. The one legacy game that I haven't played that I desperately want to is Betrayal Legacy. Betrayal at House on the Hill was one of my very first introductions into modern board gaming when I got into the hobby back in 2007. And I have always loved that game, even though it sometimes makes me very mad because some of the scenarios are really broken and unbalanced and hard to understand and decipher rules-wise. Like, despite all of its flaws, I have had a lot of good times with Betrayal at House on the Hill. So, Betrayal Legacy, it's weird. I don't hear a ton of people talking about it, but the people I know who have played it said it's amazing, and it's one of the best examples of the legacy game format being used. So I desperately want to play that one. I don't know when I'm going to get a group together to do that. I would kind of like to barrel through it. Like, I don't want to stretch it out really far. I would love to, like, maybe within the span of 2 or 3 weeks, get together on a couple of different days and just kind of go through as many scenarios as possible. But I don't know if I'll be able to make that happen or not. If you all like legacy games, drop in the chat what your favorite legacy game is, or if you played one and it was disappointing, let me know that too. I will get to those obviously when I scroll down to the bottom of the chat, but not quite yet. Let's see here. Have I tried the new Imperial Settlers Roll and Write game? I have not. I would love to hear your thoughts on it if that is something that you think I should check out. I do love roll and write games. I'm trying to think if there is a roll and write game that I've played and not enjoyed, and nothing comes to mind. There are some that I definitely prefer over others, but so far I haven't tried one that I don't like, so it'll probably be on my list to try if I get around it at some point. Welcome to is Kabuki Kid's favorite roll and write game. I love Welcome to as well. I just got my Kickstarter stuff in recently with all of the themed maps. Maps, is that the right word? Little neighborhoods. The Halloween one, the holiday one, the nuclear apocalypse one, and what's the other one? Zombies, I think. I have realized I don't need that much content for that game. I love Welcome to, but I'm not going to play it often enough to warrant having 5 different like modifications to the base game. So I probably didn't need to back that one on Kickstarter, but I love the game, so it sucked me in. Do I play Smash Up? I don't actually. I've played Smash Up 2 or 3 times in the past, and I never enjoy it as much as I think I should. And I know that the game is intended to be light and a little bit silly. And I do like that they have all of the different combinations of different creatures and things that you can pair up and make interesting combos with. But every time I've played that game, it has just always been a little bit meh for me. I'm really glad other people like it. And I think it's a neat concept, but it's just not my favorite. Maverick asks, are you going to watch Batwoman? I don't know if I'm going to watch Batwoman or not. It's funny, I used to say that I didn't like superhero movies and TV shows at all, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe has turned me into a fan of, and I know that Batwoman is DC, not Marvel, for the record. I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit of things. And, but yeah, is Batwoman, I should know this, is Batwoman a movie or a TV show? I don't actually know. But yeah, I mean, chances are, yes, I'm going to check it out at some point. Have I seen any good movies recently? Yes. Detective Pikachu was awesome. And I will admit, I don't know a lot about Pokemon in general. And sorry, Shelby is in the background growling out the window again. If you guys hear weird noises, that's the dog. So Detective Pikachu, yeah. So my only experience with Pokemon at all is Pokemon Go. Like when Pokemon Go came out and everyone was playing it, I was one of those people. And I had never played any other Pokemon games before. When the very first Pokemon game was released for the Game Boy, I think I was just a little bit older. Like I had just kind of gotten out of mobile video game playing, because I used to play games on my Game Boy all the time, and I did like RPG style video games back in the day. Like I played a lot of Dragon Warrior, which was called Dragon Quest originally, on my Nintendo. So it's not like that style of game doesn't appeal to me. I had just never gotten into Pokemon at all. I remember when I was a young teenager, there were some kids that I was babysitting for that played Pokemon, and I would be like, oh, that's interesting, but just didn't pick it up. So when I went into Detective Pikachu, I was like, oh man, am I going to miss references and things? And obviously, like, when we would run into a random Pokemon out in the wild or whatever, I wouldn't always remember their name, but I would recognize them, especially from playing Pokemon Go. And the movie was just a delight. If you are not a fan of Pokemon in general, that should not stop you from seeing this movie. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. Not that I was expecting it to be bad, but I feel like the only reason this movie exists is because Ryan Reynolds is a wonderful human being, and B, he's now rich and popular enough to do whatever he wants, and this is what he wanted to do, and so he did it. And I think that's a delightful way to make movies. Like, he was like, I know nobody really asked for this, but it's going to happen anyway, and it's the thing we all didn't know we wanted, and it's wonderful. Let's see here. Oh, that chat's just scrolling again. Let's see here. Am I going to Dice Tower Con? I am going to Dice Tower Con. I'm not going to Origins in June, but I am going to Dice Tower Con in July, and I will be at Gen Con in August. And I'm very excited about Gen Con specifically because it will be my very first Gen Con ever. Gen Con has been happening for what, 51, 52 years now? More than 50. I know they had their 50th already. And I've never been, so I'm very excited to go for the first time. I will be working in the Dice Tower booth for a majority of the show. So if anyone happens to be at Gen Con in August, come see me there. At Dice Tower Con, I will definitely be helping out with some of the events and goings-ons there as well, but I'm not 100% sure what yet. So if you're going to be at Dice Tower Con, keep an eye out for me there too, and hopefully we can get together and play a game. Rise of Queensdale was the name of the legacy game designed by Inka and Marcus Brand that I mentioned earlier. Thank you, Jen, for dropping that in the chat. Let's see here. There's also the Game of Thrones prequel series coming at some point. That's true. I am a little less enthused about the Game of Thrones prequels. We don't have to get into a discussion about Game of Thrones here, but I like the series as a whole. I was one of the people who was not super keen on the last season, but that's okay. I started watching from day one, episode 1, and I stuck with it all the way through. I even dressed up as Khaleesi back in 2011, the very first year of Game of Thrones. I fell in love with it immediately and dressed up as Daenerys for Halloween, so that was fun. Let's see here. Oh, Talon did not know there was a Betrayal Legacy. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like not a ton of people have been talking about that one, but everybody says good stuff. I have not heard anything bad about it. So Talon says Pandemic Legacy Season 2 is their favorite. It's a good choice. I really liked Season 2 as well. Let's see here. Oh, I love how the chat keeps jumping down. That's fine. Talon likes Smash Up. Very cool. Yeah, I know that I'm kind of an anomaly. A lot of people really like Smash Up, and it's not my thing. So, have I checked out Afterlife on Netflix? I have not. I'll have to make a point to look at the trailer for that one at some point. Talon asks, is Detective Pikachu a kids movie? And no, it's not. It's not a kids movie. It's not, I mean, I guess it is. Was it kid friendly? I don't remember what the rating was. I don't necessarily pay attention to like how much cursing or anything else is potentially in a movie. I don't remember any cursing necessarily. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. It's not, I think it's mostly kid friendly, but not geared towards kids. Let's see here. Oh, Chris had a good answer. It's targeted to original fans of Pokemon who have grown up and are now over 30. And I would say it's honestly targeted to anybody around that age range, whether you grew up with Pokemon or not. Because I am 34 and I didn't play Pokemon, but I really liked the movie. So let's see here. Do I like the Lego Movie too? Here's a fun fact. I haven't seen it, and I didn't know it was out already. When did it come out? I saw, it's funny, I was scrolling through my mom's TV guide on her satellite TV or whatever, and I saw that it was listed on one of the movie channels, and I was like, wait, when did that come out? I remember seeing trailers for it, and I guess I missed when it hit theaters. It clearly didn't make as big of a splash as the original Lego Movie. Oh, Shelby is now climbing up over here. Are you going to climb over here and say hi? You going to come say hi again? Come here. She's so funny. Yeah, you want to be on the stream? Okay. Yeah, Shelby, you can say hi to everybody on the stream. Yeah, you're a good doggo. I'm sure that licking noise of you licking my hand is going to come through great on the microphone. Yeah. Let's see here. Have I played the new Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth? I haven't played that one yet. Lord of the Rings is an IP that I don't have a ton of interest in. It's fine. I like the movies, but I don't gravitate toward that one as strongly. So I haven't played the game yet, but I'd be willing to. Nelson asks, have I watched Black Mirror and what was my favorite episode? Okay, so I love Black Mirror, and San Junipero is my favorite episode. Upside down, right side up, back ways, four ways, all the time. San Junipero, I have watched more times than I can count. I love that episode of Black Mirror. And honestly, there are a lot of other really, really good episodes, but San Junipero is the one that I keep coming back to over and over again because it just fills me with a lot of like really good feelings. And I'm very excited for the new season. I saw the trailer for season 5 and I'm excited. I always tell people, if any of you are listening to this and go, oh, Crystal likes Black Mirror, maybe I should check it out. I often recommend not starting with season 1, episode 1, because it's not bad as far as episodes go, but the subject matter of that specific episode is pretty difficult to watch. And that disclaimer applies to a lot of Black Mirror episodes, but man, season 1, episode 1, they throw you into the deep end in a lot of ways that, I don't know. I just don't recommend that as your first episode. San Junipero is a great one. Nosedive, Stone Temple Glyph said, is a good one too. That's true. That's the one about social media. And they actually made a board game based on that episode, in case anybody wasn't aware. I've heard it's horrible. I've heard it's not a good board game at all. But I do think it's neat that they made a board game based on an episode of Black Mirror. And I think there is some room for good content there. But I heard it's bad. I haven't played it. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up to see what I'm missing. Do I play any tabletop miniatures games? And if so, what has been my favorite thus far? I don't really play miniatures games at all. I will admit I have been tempted by some, especially the Battlestar Galactica tabletop miniatures game. I know that they're releasing a bunch more figures for that one at Origins. There was a whole bunch of stuff listed on the Origins game list. That one interests me because I like the IP a lot. For me, a tabletop miniatures game or any game of that style, I want to be interested in the subject matter, not like, because the strategy of a tabletop miniatures game is not something that innately appeals to me. If I'm going to play a 2-player game, I would rather play something different generally. So I really don't play any of those. Will I be at Dice Tower Retreat? As of right now, I will not be at Dice Tower Retreat. Unfortunately, because I have a regular full-time job and I'm going to be taking off almost a week in July for Dice Tower Con and almost a week in August for Gen Con, I won't have the time off available in September to come to the retreat. Oh gosh. My mom has a clock that makes a lot of noise. So that's going to be going off. Oh no, and it's noon. It's going to go off 12 times. I'm so sorry. I'm sure that that's super loud. And here it goes. It's going to go off 12 times now. So we'll push through. It's fine. Yeah, so I'm not going to be at the Dice Tower Retreat in September as of right now. Really, if I lived closer to Florida, I feel like it would be easier for me to kind of like pop in and wait, did it not go? It is noon, right? What time does that clock think it is? That was not 12. Yeah, if I was closer to Florida, it would be easier for me to kind of just like pop in and hang out for a couple days. But because I live on the other side of the country, it would take me an entire day just to get there. And yeah, so everybody's counting the chimes. I'm so sorry. If I knew how to make that not make noise, I would have done it. But I don't, because my mom has a lot of knickknacks. So we're just going to have to deal with it. It's fine. Oh, somebody said, please release it from its suffering. Yeah, that clock has seen better days. We used to have, at my parents' old house, there was a giant grandfather clock. I feel like she still has that somewhere, but that's not the one that was going off. I'm not quite sure of the appeal of those style of clocks anymore. What do you think, Shelby? Do you like that clock? Oh, I am not a fan. We all have watches and phones that we can look at the time all the time, constantly. Okay, are we sniffing something? Here, I think Shelby knows what I stuck in my pocket. Here, Shelby, you want a little treat? There you go. Give her a little treat so that way she can go hang out and eat that. Let's see. I know everybody's going to be off kilter because I've messed up the time now. Do I like Near and Far? Near and Far is actually in my top 5 games of all time. I love Near and Far. It's really fun. I will admit that as far as just like picking it up and playing a random game, I don't really do that very often, but I love the campaign. And I want to do more of the character campaigns specifically. But I think it's a really, really neat game. And I like the story elements in it. And I like that the decisions you make aren't always obvious, but they're still really fun. Kabuki's grandmother used to have a classic cuckoo clock. My grandfather actually had a cuckoo clock. When he was still alive, he was a chiropractor, and in his office he had a cuckoo clock. So whenever I was little and we would go see him when he was at work, I was always really excited to see the cuckoo clock specifically. So that was fun. Talon says, do I like Harry Potter? I do like Harry Potter. I am not like the biggest fan, I think, probably. There's a lot of people that get really intense about Harry Potter. But I have dressed up as Moaning Myrtle for Halloween in the past. I actually just went to a wedding shower for some friends of mine a few weeks ago that was Harry Potter themed. And so I wore, I'm a Ravenclaw. I imagine that would probably not be surprising to most of you. I wore a Ravenclaw cloak and brought a wand with me. When I was in Disney World, Universal Studios down in Florida a couple of summers ago, I went to Ollivander's wand shop, and one of the wands picked me. And I was that sucker who was like, oh, clearly I'm going to spend $50 or whatever on a wand now. Can you tell that I have another one in my pocket? Is that what you can see? Here, I'm going to throw it over there. Go get it. Trying to entertain the dog. But yeah, Harry Potter is very cool. I guess I could show you all a picture of me dressed as Moaning Myrtle. That might be interesting, and I can get to it pretty quickly on my Facebook. Let's see here. Let's see, where's my albums? I really, we did Harry Potter as a theme for Halloween at work a few years ago. And everybody dressed up as different characters. And so I did Moaning Myrtle. I have a folder on my Facebook of all of my Halloween costumes over the past 10 or so years. And Moaning Myrtle was one of my faves. So hopefully you all can see that. This is me dressed as Moaning Myrtle with a toilet seat on my head. It is pretty ridiculous. I think I have a close-up of me. Yeah, there's... I had to do clip-in bangs because I don't have bangs normally, obviously. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to dress as Moaning Myrtle. But yeah, other people I've dressed as, I've been Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers. My whole family was actually the entire family from Bob's Burgers. There's my husband and my 3 dogs. Yeah, that was ridiculous. We sent that out as our Christmas card that year. I've been Shell from Portal. That one was pretty neat. I just did my whole cubicle kind of in aperture science stuff. Let's see. I was Robin Sparkles one year, which people who are fans of the TV show How I Met Your Mother will recognize. So I actually did some side-by-sides of me with Kobe Smulders to show what it looked like. And I actually got the back of the jacket airbrushed, so it actually said Robin Sparkles on the back. It was a ridiculous costume that I had a lot of fun doing. I've dressed as a TARDIS before. I've dressed as the living room wall from Stranger Things and had it programmed to actually spell things out in lights. I dressed as Amy Winehouse back in 2008. That was before she passed away. I loved Amy Winehouse's music, and this is like a scan of a Polaroid, so you can't really see the hair or anything, but that was a fun costume. I love Halloween so much. Oh yeah, and there's the Khaleesi costume that I was talking about earlier. That was from 2011. My friend Melanie and had helped me make it, so it was all made from scratch. The blonde wig was a little bit cheap, not great. Oh, and I dressed I only had 2 dogs at that point, and I dressed them up as dragons, of course. So there's a bunch of the Halloween costumes that I've done over the years. I know that was unrelated, but I know people tend to like to see those things, and I love dressing up for Halloween. It's a lot of fun. So let's see here. So somebody already answered Kabuki Kid's question about how you know what house you are. Yeah, Pottermore is the website that most people use. But I've taken bunches of quizzes, and I always come out as Ravenclaw. So Otter, thank you so much. I don't know which photo specifically you were saying was cute since I showed a bunch of them, but I appreciate your compliment. Halloween is very fun for me. So let's see, LL Callow asks what I do for work. I actually work in marketing for a credit card company. I am a copywriter specifically. I have an English degree and I'm actually using it. So that's pretty rare to find, it seems sometimes, an English major actually using their major in a capacity other than teaching. I never wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a writer. And yeah, I really like working in marketing. It's a lot of fun. I like the strategy behind marketing copy specifically. Trying to convey a lot of information succinctly is really fun. I don't have any more for you. I'm sorry. Shelby is hoping that I have more treats for her, and I do not. So she's just going to be hanging out. Do you want to be, are you the star now? Are you going to be on the stream? So this is my mom's dog. It's not my dog, so I'm not super familiar with her, but she likes me anyway. Her name is Shelby, and she's a rescue, and she's real cute, and she knows it. Yeah, you do. Very, very cute. Let's see here. Amy Winehouse had some voice. Yes, she did. I really, I loved her music so much, and when she died, I was just heartbroken. Very, very good. Talon had a hamster called Hammy. That's really cute. What's funny is when my mom was adopting this dog, the names that she was toying around with were things like Cuddles and other kind of really ridiculous names. And so my mom loves the movie Steel Magnolias. So I gently suggested that she name the dog Shelby, since that's one of the main characters in that movie, and she loves it. And she agreed, and now the dog has a real name, not Cuddles. Isn't that right? Yeah, your name is Shelby. Little ears popping up. Are you my good girl? Yeah. Feed Shelby, she's starving. I think she's okay. I think she already got fed today. Do I enjoy worker placement and resource management games? I actually really like worker placement games. And I would say like a couple of my favorites in that regard, Pursuit of Happiness is one of my favorites. I just recently tried Architects of the West Kingdom for the first time a few months ago, and I really liked that one. I played it on the Dice Tower cruise, actually, and my husband was there with me, and he played it, and he really liked it as well. So that's one that I need to add to my collection at some point. I've checked, and it's been out of stock a couple of times when I looked. So I'll have to look and see if I can get a hold of it, but I really like that one. I'm trying to think of what other worker placement games are the ones that I gravitate toward. There are a lot of the heavier Euro worker placement games that I haven't tried, but I would like to at some point. Resource management, as a mechanic, to me, I don't think I ever think of that as the primary mechanic in most games. So I would say, yes, I like resource management games, but not necessarily if that's the only thing, like if that's their core mechanic. That sounded like a kind of silly answer, but let's see here. Do I like Will Wheaton? I do like Will Wheaton. I think he has gotten a lot of hate online over the years for various reasons. His character in Star Trek Wesley Crusher was not written very well, and he was a kid when he played that character, and people have kind of disproportionately blamed Will Wheaton for their dislike of a fictional character, and I think that's not fair. And then when Will used to do the tabletop web series, I know that there was a lot of drama and behind the scenes things going on there that people weren't keen on either. And I think, none of us that are outside of that situation know the whole story of what happened. And B, it doesn't really matter. We should still be kind. So it doesn't matter who made mistakes or why or what happened. But I think people do not treat Will Wheaton fairly, regardless of if he's made mistakes or not. He's still a human, and he's been very open and honest about his struggles with anxiety and depression and things like that. And I think that that's really neat that he is willing to be so open and sharing with that kind of information. And I know he's it feels like he's disappeared a little bit out of the spotlight once Tabletop ended. I haven't seen him doing much lately. I know he still tweets and whatnot, but I haven't seen any episodes of his podcast in a long time either. So I like Will Wheaton. I think he's a pretty cool guy, and I think he's gotten a disproportionate amount of hate online, which does not make me happy. I think most people should try to be kind to most other people. So let's see. Do I typically pledge for games I'm interested in on Kickstarter or wait until they hit retail? It kind of depends. I think I do both. If it's something I'm really excited about and I want to directly support the publisher, let's say the designer or the company publishing it is one that I really want to directly give my support to, then I'll often back it on Kickstarter if I think I'm going to like the game anyway. If I don't have any personal connections or knowledge about who is publishing a game and I'm not certain I'm going to like it, I will often wait until retail. I do subscribe to the theory that, if it's a really super awesome game, it will eventually become available through other channels and I can get it later. And truthfully, I have enough games at this point that I'm not playing most of the games I own on a regular basis anyway. I can't even imagine, my collection is probably 250 games. That's it. And within our hobby, that seems kind of small. I know people that have 2,000 games, and I know I'm not playing all of mine, so I can't imagine if you have 2,000 games. And for the record, I'm not judging anyone for the size of their collection, big or small. I think people are allowed to do what they want with their money, and to collect board games is also a hobby. Playing games and collecting games can both be hobbies. So, no judgment. But if I owned 2,000 games, even if I played even if I played 2 games every single day for an entire year, that's only going to get me through, 700 of them? No. Yeah, 365 times 2. So there's just no reason to own that many games in my mind, for me personally. I don't even remember how did we even get onto this subject? I don't remember. I just got distracted because the dog's running around. Oh, because it was talking about Kickstarter games, waiting until they get to retail. Yeah. If I see a game I really, really like, or an expansion for a game that I already love, I will back it on Kickstarter. But I go through these waves where I'll back a lot of things all at once, and then I won't back anything for a while. And I think, I don't know, I have let's see what Kickstarters I am still waiting for. That's a fun little thing. We've got about 13 minutes left, so if you all have questions and you haven't dropped them in the chat yet, make sure to do that. So let's see, what have I backed recently? So I backed Bites, which is a little game from Chad Deshawn of BoardGameTables.com that looks really fun. It's a kind of a reprint of an abstract strategy game, but it's got a cool picnic theme now with ants, and that looks really fun. I backed the 5 to 6 player expansion for Starving Artists, which is a game I really like. I talked about that on a recent episode of Dice Tower Tonight. So if you want to see or hear more about that, go look that up. And then I have some that I'm just still waiting on. Expansion for Pursuit of Happiness called Experiences. Wavelength, which is that party game. 1001 Odysseys. The expansion for Shipwreck Arcana. Graphic Novel Adventures Season 2. And Roll and Write, the Roll and Write game. Roll and Write. I imagine in an audio format, no one understands what that is. Roll and Write. The name of a person named Roll and Write is the name of this game. I will never be able to explain that in a way that makes sense to people who aren't already aware of what I'm talking about. But that one was cool because since it is by Perplexed Games, I was able to get all of the Pack-O-Game games, the ones that are the size of a pack of gum. I got both sets 1 and 2 of those as part of my pledge for Roll and Write. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I think those are all the ones I'm waiting on currently. Oh, and QE as well. When is that one shipping? Feels like, and Trogdor. How did I forget Trogdor? That game, so I loved HomestarRunner.com back when it was in its heyday. I mean, I still love it, but it's not, they don't produce content regularly anymore. And when I saw that they were making a board game I pretty much instantly knew two things. One, the game is probably not going to be that impressive mechanically. Two, I'm going to buy it anyway. I loved Homestar Runner so much. I was one of those people that, like, as soon as a new Strong Bad email got released, I would immediately go and watch it. And I played all of the games and found all of the Easter eggs and did all of the content on their website. So yeah, I definitely backed this board game. And honestly, if the game is as meh as I kind of expect it to be, I might take the meeples and the figurines from my copy and put them in other games and play with Homestar meeples in a different game, which honestly sounds really fun. So let's see here. Do I play tabletop RPGs? Rediscovered them a few years ago with D&D next. So I had never played any tabletop RPGs until about a year and a half ago. And at that point, I jumped into 3 different campaigns all around the same time. So I started playing a weekly D&D campaign with some people through the internet that I'd never met in person before. I started playing a monthly D&D campaign with Roy Cannaday and the other guys from Epic Gaming Night. And then I started playing the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game with some of my friends online who are board gamers and also Star Trek fans. I have since stopped playing Dungeons and Dragons entirely. I kind of burned myself out a little bit. Between board games and tabletop RPGs, I was doing too much and didn't have enough time to commit to all of them in the way that I wanted. So I'm no longer, we finished up the campaign, the weekly D&D one, and then the Epic Gaming Night one kind of fizzled out a little bit just because our schedules were all busy and it was hard to get together. But I am still playing the Star Trek Adventures RPG with my friends. We don't actually broadcast that one online or record it. We just do it for ourselves. And it's really fun. And Shelby is jumping back up here. I don't know what she's doing. We're going to hang out. Let's see here. I've got about 9 minutes left. Oh, and the chat just jumped. Let's see here. Will Wheaton was the most insightful and enjoyable person on the Next Generation panel that Dan attended in TC. He made the show. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, Will does not typically come to the big Star Trek convention that's here in Las Vegas every year. I am not sure about the details as to why that is. I know that there is a reason, that something that happened a while back or something with Creation Entertainment, the company that runs it. But he doesn't come to the one in Las Vegas, which really bums me out because I would love to see him. So yeah. Okay. Hi. Yeah. Shelby is, I know, we're gonna get off here in just a few minutes. Did I get the 7th Continent expansion? LOL. So Kabuki Kid knows that I do not like the 7th Continent at all. So yes, I did not back the expansion on Kickstarter. I did actually back, so when they did their second campaign, I backed for $1 just so I could follow along because I was kind of baffled as to how many people, everyone loves that game. And it ruined it for me playing it with 4 players, truthfully. I just have to imagine most people are playing it either solo or with 2 people because any more than that, and it's not fun and it takes way too long. I don't know. I'm clearly missing something there because everybody loves it. But did I ever play Candy Crush? I have played Candy Crush in the past. I haven't played that one in a few years probably, but I used to play Candy Crush a lot. It was really great for killing time. I don't judge people who play mobile games at all. If you enjoy them and they are great time fillers when you're sitting around or at the DMV or you can't sleep, I say do it. Okay, did I back the last wave of graphic novel adventures from Van Ryder? I did. I have all of those coming in, I think, this summer, so that'll be exciting. My 5 favorite Star Trek characters. Ooh, that's hard. Okay, off the top of my head, we're going to say Sylvia Tilly, Jadzia Dax, Catherine Janeway, Data, and man, number 5's hard. Michael Burnham. It's so hard for me to choose characters from the older shows, and it's funny because the writing is getting better with every Star Trek show that comes out, but the older characters, especially like Next Gen, Beverly Crusher and Deanna Troi, were written horribly. Their actresses are great and they played those characters very well, but the storylines that those characters got were awful. So that was off the top of my head, and that's what I wanted to name. So, oh my gosh. Do I have a name for the noise that I make while reading that I literally just made as I saw that comment? I know I don't have a name for that, and I didn't realize I was doing it until literally just right then. So that was funny. Do I play solo mode? If so, what games? I don't play many games solo. I have played Sprawlopolis solo before. And Legacy of Dragonholt would probably be my very favorite game that I've ever played solo. I played through the whole Legacy of Dragonholt campaign by myself and really loved it. So I just did the noise again. I don't know why that noise is what I make specifically. I guess it's to fill the silence with something. Well, it looks like we're getting to the end of the questions here. I love that you all are just kind of chatting with each other. But yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I'm going to wrap this up. I actually am probably going to be heading to the hospital to visit with my family member that is in the hospital currently. So while this weekend has not gotten to be as filled with gaming as I would have liked, I was very happy to be able to take an hour out and chat with you all. As always, if you can do me a favor, right below this video, click that little thumbs up button for me. It will help the algorithms on YouTube make sure other people see this video and see it in the future as well. And I just appreciate the kudos, truthfully, if you did enjoy the stream. I will be back again on Wednesday evening for Dice Tower Tonight with Eric Summerer. That's always a fun time. That is at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, every other Wednesday. And this coming Wednesday happens to be one of our on weeks. So hopefully I will see all of you there. And I hope you all are having a really good holiday weekend. And yeah, thank you for joining me for Board Game Brunch here on the Dice Tower. And as always, have fun gaming. Bye, everyone.